Russia has been part of Europe since very ancient times, like more than 1,000 years. Russian culture, Russian literature is part of Europe. For me, it's a heart-wrenching situation. I've been in Kiev several times. It's a beautiful city. I've never had any problems, and I've been in Kiev after 2014. So I personally did not have any reason for that conflict.
If you say Russia is part of European culture, so the pivot to Asia, the turn to Asia of Russian politics, is this a mistake?
No, it's not a mistake. It's a situational decision.
Gegen den Strom. Zur Person.
Against the Current, in person. Hello and welcome to Against the Current. We present positions and perspectives that the propaganda media keep quiet about. St. Petersburg, A Laboratory of Modernity, 1909 to 1921. That is the title of a book by Eastern European historian Karl Schlogel, a book that has opened many a window onto Russia for me. Today I'd like to expand that title a little. To this day, St. Petersburg is a laboratory of modernity, a city where literary, artistic, and musical trends converge, while a regrettable provincialism is spreading in Germany. The music group Oligarkh comes from St. Petersburg. It has been nominated for the Berlin Music Video Awards, and Anton Chizhenok is part of the group, especially creating its videos.
Anton Chizhenok, der insbesondere die Videos erstellt.
Stasbudia Anton Alexandrovich.
Thank you very much for your invitation, Mr. Bob.
Thank you very much for your invitation. I speak Russian poorly, so we'll speak in English.
And I just speak German less well. That is oligarchy.
Oligarch. What is oligarch?
Oligarkh is an art project and music band from St. Petersburg, as you mentioned. We started our career in 2013, I guess. First, it was a one-man project, but by one exact musician, like a bedroom producer, who started to mixing electronic music, contemporary one, based with Orthodox chants, ringing of the bells, some quotes from well-known Russian literature, TV and radio plays, and he was taking parts from mass conscious things like those that are easy to recognize for whole, you may call it Slavic or post-Soviet people.
So this is a kind of modern music and deeply rooted in Russian traditions as well.
Russian, Slavic, post-Soviet, you may call it as you wish, but the one that's recognizable for this grandiose amount of people from East Germany to east of the very east of Eurasia.
What is the background of the name Oligarch?
We were choosing from many different variants of the name for the band, but this exact name was picked partially because the guy in charge of this band had watched several hours of documentaries about 90s and Russian oligarchs who was trying to get in power. And on my side of view, and I love this name because it's a Griechish-based Greece-based name, and because Russian Orthodox Church uses many Greek-based words like Eucharistia, baptism, lots of them. So it was a mixed mash of ideas and views for us. And it was pretty easy to find because we changed last letter to make it like a transliteration, like Kharkov, Khabarovsk, KH in the end. It's easier to find via Google searches now.
And the band has its origin in St. Petersburg.
It was originated in St. Petersburg in 2013. The frontman of the band, Victor, actually was born in Yaroslavl. It's a very ancient Russian city, a few hours by train from Moscow. He grew up there. He's from very music family. His father is a bass jazz player. His mother teach students in the music school. He was part of Orthodox core when he was pretty young. So he drew some inspiration from that and still keeps some of the records of that time. But when mutation started and his voice turned not so angelic-like, he moved to another styles of music, was experimenting with punk rock, some variation of electronic music. We were co-workers in the same printing house. I was a graphic designer and after that an art director of that place, and he was a man in charge of printing and post-print things.
And today you are, after 12 years, present on international stages. How did you manage that?
Well, actually, we start going outside of Russia very early, like on the second or third year of our work, partially because I had some connections and we had amazing booking agent outside of Russia. I won't call her name, but to keep her away from any problems, let's just name it her. She helped us. We spent about 8 years working together. We toured all over Europe, from Baltic countries to Gran Canaria, from Gran Canaria to China. Our first Chinese tour was in 2016, I guess, or 17. Well, so we always been a band that looks for international fame or international tours.
The daughter of the in Russia well-known philosopher Alexander Dugin, Daria Dugina, who died by a car bomb.
Yeah, was killed.
Loved your music, and was this a door opener? Her father, Alexander Dugin, sent a video message to you.
Oh, no, he presented us several of his books. Maybe for our viewers, it would be easier to call her, as she nicknamed herself, Daria Platonova, because she was very into Neoplatonic philosophy. She was going step by step by her father's career. I mean, she was studying deeply in philosophy. She was a big fan of our art, and during COVID times we made this broadcasting show, and to do some introduction, we asked her if her father could make an introduction, tell few words about current situation, something existential about plague and something like that. And he did, yeah.
And the result? What did he write? What did he speak?
He was speaking about Camus' plague. I don't remember the French name, sorry.
Die Pest.
The Pest. How could I? I'm not a French-speaking person. Like, bonjour, merci, that's all I can do. Yeah, he made pretty nice statement about current situation, about what is to be right before the death, when anytime sooner or later you may die without any warning before. It was it was pretty cute. Not one of his current patriotic speeches or works, but cute small talk about existentialism.
We met for the first time, I think, 25 years ago. And those days you assisted me while doing a film on international fur trade and fur smuggling. And those days you were an activist against fur trade. What was your way into the music?
My way into the music was via backdoor because I was graphic designer working with venues, festivals, some artists, and via this route I made a kind of career in show business, doing live visuals, artworks, posters, branding, things like that for artist venues, festivals, music-related stuff.
In 2022, you left Russia and went to Belgrade. Why?
Exactly. Well, because every male in Russia wanted to live it in the fall of 2022. Nobody was sure if he will be enlisted or incarcerated, or everything seemed possible, and I don't mean it in a positive way, like everything is possible. No, every terror you could imagine could take place during this time. As we had good, nice connections outside of Russia, and we had visas, Schengen ones. We decided to go on tour exactly at that time. Fled Russia via Finland because it's one of the closest borders. Estonian is close enough, but to go to Finland for St. Petersburg-based person was something absolutely easy. Like we were going to Helsinki to buy some salty fish or dishwashing fuels or some discount clothes, or to use its airport, for example. But at that time we used another way to leave Finland and go Belgrade. We use a steamboat ferry. It was very symbolic because it was exactly 100-year anniversary of so-called philosopher steamboat. Have you ever heard about this thing? In 1922, Soviet government decided to make local intellectuals, writers, philosophers, scientists leave Russia. It was in that time not that bloodthirsty as in 1937, for example. There are even Felix Dzerzhinsky's interview for Times magazine, where he says, we can't shoot them and we can't incarcerate them, so it's better to make them leave. And it was the exact 100-year anniversary of that events. Funny how such a coincidence taking places.
Fall 2022, it was the time of the great military mobilization. Nobody knew what will the future bring. How many young people left Russia in those days? What do we estimate?
Oh, well, I don't have the exact numbers, but about 500,000, maybe more, depending on how you count, because after some times, some people came back, some people moved next, some people went away later than this mobilization started, like half a year later or a few months later, depending on how you see. Some are going to leave Russia nowadays as soon as they will have an opportunity or have enough money or will do some papers before going. The immigration is still going on.
Yeah, and we both met in 2024, I think, and we had a discussion, a long conversation while walking on Vasilyevsky Island. I can remember over there. Why did you return to Russia?
First of all, my family is here and I'm unable to bring them away from Russia, and I do not earn enough money to give them a proper asylum outside of Russia, sadly. I have I had a wife there, real estate, so it wasn't that easy for me to leave Russia for entirety.
So it's not easy to live in Russia today, because you told me yesterday there is also political repression. How would you evaluate the situation right now?
Well, first of all, I'm limited by Russian laws and unable to say some things about the current situation, to name some things as they are, not to be labeled foreign agent, for example, or to get some kind of another legal penalty, because I want to go back and not having serious problems. And this is the kind of way it is now. So we are half numb. We use symbolic language to express our feelings and emotions about nowadays situation. As we told before, half of young Russians, I don't really mean half, like statistically, but a huge number of them fled away. Some of them because they had real anti-war position, some of them to accompany them or to have an opportunity to work as they want, because many possibilities closing. Like for those who were working with international projects, for example, like most of government-funded institute, I mean foreign ones, for Russian foreign ones, are closing its work inside Russia. Some international projects are closing. For example, as I'm working in showbiz, we can rarely see foreign artists coming to Russia, only very specific ones.
Oligarkh, your music group, is neither labeled pro-Western nor pro-Russian. You can take part in events, state-financed events in Russia, as well as in events in the West. How did you manage that?
We never had anyone to catch us pointing that we mocking the material we work with. Like it's a serious thing. We're not joking about it. We're not bastardize it. For example, it's a precious thing we really care of, and that's why nobody really can point that we do something wrong about this music. For government-funded side or for pro-government activists. We are some kind of maybe jokers of our own, but no, for them, we are those precious artists who care about traditional things, who bring older traditional art into modernity, and bring a new, younger audience to hear it. Because as we were starting our career in 2014, 13, those kind of music was extremely rare. Like folk, it's a something dusty, old that grandmothers are singing, and you can't make it cool. But seems like we did.
So some authorities in Russia think your music is linked to the state narrative of family, Russian traditions, state and church.
I guess they take it like this. Well, I mean, of course, you can look at our art from that position. But I guess that this postmodern pastiche brings some new meanings to this material, putting it into new contexts, changing its meaning. I don't mean to the opposite exact, but recontextualizing it and breathes new, fresh air into it, I guess.
What would you think is the innovative element in your music?
Well, first of all, the technical one. The second one, that it's not a style or the substance thing. The substance is very important for us. We won't do anything that will make our fans angry about using that material improperly. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because we felt work with this material as some kind of spiritual experience, partially. And maybe because we felt it like a mission to bring people together, to bring the tear apart society back together. Because you can clearly see that Russian society is separated very harshly.
And you are mostly responsible for the videos.
Yeah.
And for editing and producing these videos. What is the specific thing of this job?
Oh, well, it's also made in the same way as the music, made like a collage of or mixed media of sometimes very recognizable parts. I use clips from news, from older documentaries, from old movies, and I think that the recognition itself is a very important emotion that our audience got. When you recognize as something, you're feeling yourself awarded. Like, oh, I'm so clever. I know this part. It's from Tarkovsky, I guess.
Are you writing the screenplays of your own?
No, but I pitch the ideas for them. Sometimes when we work, we prefer to work with someone who's better in producing, in director than we are. There are a few music videos that I'm directed myself, but they're not the blockbusters of our
I saw different music clips of yours. One was about a young dressed-up lady, I think, in the snow on the Neva in winter, and the other one, young children, homeless children in old and rotten buildings. Who has the ideas for that?
The one you mentioned with homeless kids were directed and shot by Sasha Kulak. Her name, she was just graduated out of Cinema Institute or Cinema School, and it was something like her first postgraduate work. Don't worry, those kids are not really homeless. They were invited from hockey team or something
From
like
hockey team.
that. Yeah, they are not real bombs.
What was the background of this story?
To give first of all, the song for this music video was called "Forgive Us," and it's like our first hit, mixed from real prayers with a hip hop styled beat, and it was kind of the first thing that made us recognizable. I won't say famous, but recognizable in some kind of groups of people.
And you shot another video. It is a video for a kind of tank game, a military game. What is the story of the game of tanks?
The World of Tanks is a very popular online video game. We took part in a special kind of project, short-term one for that game. Write one song, music track of them that has no lyrics, but the vibe and stylistic is our. We also give them our tracks with no vocals for soundtrack. They made some kind of special event for inside the game event around that collaboration, and after that we played on the finals of tournament of some kind they did, and it was a day of tank driver, the exact holiday tank drivers celebrate.
And so the video became popular.
Oh, no, I don't think that this exact one were any popular, but this game is mass popular, really, like millions of players around the world. I guess originally this game was produced in Belarus. It was one of their high-tech projects in the early 2000s. Belarus gave lots of advances and freedoms and funding for high-tech projects. They had their own Silicon Valley style areas. They grew bigger and bigger, opened offices all around post-Soviet area. I guess nowadays they're banned in Belarus, but in Russia it's still working and very popular.
Only few Germans know St. Petersburg, and fewer Germans know the music scene in St. Petersburg. Can you give us a glimpse on that?
More Germans know this city by its former name, Leningrad. Like it's second biggest city in Russia, like second capital that was established by Peter the Great, the Tsar, who turned Russia into real empire, open for the West. But actually, I think that this image is partially a propaganda, but a historical one, because before that, Russia was pretty integrated into European society, European history. We had history of European brides coming to Russia from very far away, distant places, like from England, for example, in the early 11th century. Damn. So Ivan the Terrible was in conversation with Elizabeth, the first Queen of England, Virgin Elizabeth, Queen. So it's just a point of view and of historic textbooks that Peter the Great just started this. As you mentioned, he cut the window into Europe. That's a nickname for St. Petersburg as well.
I met Shnurov, Sergei Shnurov, the founder of the group Leningrad. I love the songs. I met him in the TV building on the Petrograd side in St. Petersburg, and he was completely drunk someday in the morning. But he made a lot of ironic political songs as well. How do you estimate that? How do you see that?
Well, before that, he was very popular absolutely outside of politics. It was an image of this drunk, intelligent guy who swears a lot, drinks a lot, making very uncomfortable, intolerant jokes, and so on. He started career of the band Leningrad in the early 2000s, I guess.
Yes.
Then by the end of the decade, he decided to close the project for some time, started a side band called Rubl that was more socially aware and had heavier sound, but it didn't earn any popularity outside of his persona. And after that, he restarted Leningrad. It was also a unpolitical band joking about consumption, state of modern society, and things like that. What you're saying about his political songs was not that popular as you think of. It was Instagram Reels short pieces he made on his kitchen floor with one guitar. It's more like a music blog style thing, but it wasn't any popular. It was more better known when he started to be sponsored by some political figures in Russia.
And the leader of the mercenary company, Prigozhin, was under his friends and he worked for him.
I'm not sure if he worked directly, but seems like he was sympathizing him before the uprising Prigozhin started. After that, he changed sides drastically, for sure.
Are there some links between Leningrad and Oligarkh?
Oh, not really. We have met briefly once or twice in the backstage, not really having any serious conversation, just a small talk, where to find toilet or who to ask for some writer stuff. Not sure. I met him a few times, but we never talk.
What is the difference between the music styles?
Oh, it's absolutely different. Leningrad works with ska punk, with lots of tubes, saxophones, something. Some kind of music you may turn on wedding of workers, or I don't know, not a highbrow thing, actually. What we're doing is not that funny, I guess, but it has its own core of meaning, and the spirituality we use in our music is impossible to find in Shnurov's art.
But there is one similarity. that you go back both Leningrad and Oligarkh to Russian traditional and Russian culture?
I don't really feel that Leningrad ever tried to do something with tradition or, no, they had absolutely different way of what they were making. It was just a fun time spending for office workers or bourgeoisie, we may call it, before the restart of the band. I guess I can't name really or pinpoint where. I can name where they tried to use a tradition, but it wasn't the kind you mentioned. It's not about folk or ethnicity. They used urban folklore.
Yes.
Like violent romances from early 20s, something like that. Yeah. He did that, but only on first one or two long plays, I guess.
The idea behind your work is partly to create bridges between the cultures and the different point of views. And years ago, Russia defined itself as a part of Europe. When I hear philosophers and political scientists like Professor Karaganov, he said in an interview, the European journey of Russia is over. Is that true?
Maybe for him. I guess nobody wants to invite him to Europe anymore. But for us, no, I don't think so. Russia's been part of Europe since very ancient times, like more than 1,000 years of being part of Europe. Russian culture, Russian literature is part of European culture, just as any classical writers or artists or musicians were. So I don't really feel that separation for myself. For example, many of Russian artists and writers was copying European styles or genres, but bringing something of their own. For example, Dostoevsky is a very clear example of copying. He was copying Dickens, but with his very own style, with his very own view. Tolstoy was copying someone of the English literature as well, but I guess I forgot the name. And some French literature as well. Hugo, for example. Les Miserables is a blueprint for War and Peace.
If you say Russia is part of European culture, so the pivot to Asia, the turn to Asia of Russian politics, is this a mistake?
Oh, no, it's not a mistake. It's a situational decision, as our politicians have no option to work with European Union. They turned to Asian one. We are also working with Asian markets, but we started it since 2016, our first Chinese tour. It was about 8 shows in a row, been 10 years ago. And we keep our connection with those people. Next September, we're going to China again.
Oh, that's great. What do you expect?
Oh, not to lose money, first of all, and to came back healthy, I guess.
You said Russia is part of the European culture, but today Europe is split up. On the one hand, the European Union and the NATO. On the other hand, Russia. And the reason for this is the Ukraine war. So what do you think about this?
As I told you, I'm afraid I'm not the person to clarify the situation on Ukrainian front, and because of just low limitations, I cannot really talk about that freely, you know. But for me, it's a heart-wrenching situation. I've been in Kiev several times. It's a beautiful city. I've never had any problems, and I've been in Kiev after 2014. So I personally did not have any reason for that conflict.
So you didn't feel any Russophobia or something else in Ukraine?
I did not. You mean in that time? Of course, it was more than 10 years ago. No, I was very happy meeting those people, having small talks. There was no conflicts with locals.
You told me something about trips to Ukraine, to Kiev. You had tours across Russia, Murmansk and other cities. And you told me something about a planned tour in China. How did you manage the way to the top?
You mean to the top of the pops, or to the top of
the top of the pops, the top of the music?
Oh,
You're a
we're not even
well-known
near
band.
to the top of the pops. It's a very niche thing. Sometimes for kind of intellectual part of society, sometimes for common people. And it's great because it's kind of mission of ours to bring Russians together, to bring post-Soviet countries together. Of course, I'm speaking more about European part, but Russian is still lingua franca for sixth part of the world, even more, I guess. I've met hundreds of people who loved Russian culture, who didn't cancel it or throw it away from their daily routine, who learned Russia to read our classics or to treat Russia. Many Europeans, many Americans, lots of people still love its culture, and you can't separate culture from the politics. I can't.
It's impossible.
Because
You can?
as with problematic authors, for example, this is a very common situation nowadays when we review back some classical writers and find something bad in their biography. But does that hurt the art itself? For me, no.
But culture today is deeply involved in politics. For example, the director Gergiev was kicked out in Munich and sent home to Russia. So they are approaches that try to make culture, music, a political instrument. How do you think about that?
Well, every country has its own soft power style works. Gergiev is a very clear example. He's a hand puppet of government because he's a director of one of the most known music theaters in Russia. Of course, he's a face of official art. But there are plenty of people who do not take any money from government or do not really care about that, or can work outside of this system. Of course, there are limitations or borders. As you grow up in popularity, of course, the meaning of what you're saying grows bigger, and as a top speaker, everyone is a bit politic of themselves because they influence their audience, and if it's huge enough, it turned to be dangerous for a government. Not really dangerous, but it competes with narratives that state provides.
Oligarkh is now nominated for the Berlin Music Video Award. What is the role of this award?
Well, before we were nominated, I've never heard about this award at all. But seems like many huge artists are nominated. We're nominated for Best Director award. We cope with such artists as Björk, Mitski, Peaches, Georgie, Rosalia. That's a huge world name. For me, it's a great honor to be represented on such a scale.
What are your next ideas, your next steps?
Oh, next step, some crazy project I want to make. Oh, last year I had an idea about documentary-styled video on one very specific topic on sex workers.
On sex workers?
Yeah. Sadly, I didn't realize it yet, but that kind of projects are good to keep for sometimes. They turn better like a good wine sometimes, or the situation turns somehow, and you have something in your back pocket to like, hey, let's do it. For example, one of my most beloved project I did with Oligarkh was in 2022, right after mobilization, because it was called a special famine presentation. You hear the mocking of the official name of special military operation, of course. The story was that the country turned absolutely female, like males fled away to save them from enlistment. Only girls stay, and we had show booked for like October or November to celebrate our new long play release, but due to situation we fled to Serbia and didn't want to come back that soon, so I thought it would be great to make presentation without us, to let girls be a performance on the stage during our music playing, and we will only have a bit of video recorded of ourselves, like to say salut from a very far away country, to have a little tear before them.
Das nächste Projekt über Sexworker.
The next project about sex workers is by Anton Chizhenok and the band Oligarkh. They take an ironic look at political issues. But music, first and foremost, has nothing to do with politics. Music has to build bridges. Thank you very much for that, Anton. Thank you. And here at Against the Current, we present positions and perspectives that the propaganda media keep silent about.
Perspektiven, welche die Propagandamedien verschweigen.